Dealing with toxic bosses and leaders, signs, examples, and strategies. Toxic leaders or bosses may exhibit behaviors such as bullying, micromanaging, playing favorites, taking credit for others' work, refusing to take responsibility for their mistakes, and creating a hostile work environment. These types of behaviors can lead to high turnover rates, low morale, decreased productivity, and an overall toxic work culture. It's important for organizations to address toxic leadership or boss behavior and take steps to create a positive and productive work environment for their employees. This can include implementing clear policies and procedures for handling workplace misconduct, offering leadership training and development programs, and encouraging open and transparent communication between leaders and their subordinates. Here are some common signs of a toxic boss or leader. They are abusive or disrespectful. A toxic boss or leader may yell, belittle, or demean their employees. They may also engage in behavior that is emotionally or physically abusive. They play favorites. Toxic bosses or leaders may have a clear preference for certain employees, which can lead to unfair treatment or favoritism. They micromanage. A toxic boss or leader may micromanage their employees, which can make it difficult for them to feel trusted or valued. They don't provide clear expectations. A toxic boss or leader may not provide clear expectations or goals for their employees, which can lead to confusion and frustration. They don't take responsibility. A toxic boss or leader may blame others for their mistakes or refuse to take responsibility for their actions. They don't listen to feedback. A toxic boss or leader may be resistant to feedback or suggestions from their employees, which can lead to a lack of growth and improvement within the organization. They create a hostile work environment. A toxic boss or leader may create a hostile work environment through their behavior or actions, which can lead to a toxic culture within the organization. If you notice any of these signs in your boss or leader, it may be worth considering whether their behavior is impacting your well-being and productivity at work. If your boss or leader is yelling, belittling, or demeaning you, it can be helpful to document specific instances of this behavior and talk to HR or a higher-up in the organization. If the behavior continues, you may need to consider finding a new job or taking legal action. If your boss or leader is playing favorites, it can be frustrating and demotivating. One approach is to focus on your own work and try to ignore favoritism. If it's impacting your ability to do your job or your opportunities for advancement, you may want to talk to HR or a higher-up in the organization. If your boss or leader is micromanaging you, it can be helpful to have a conversation with them about your work style and how you like to be managed. You can also try to proactively communicate your progress and plans to your boss to reduce the need for micromanagement. If your boss or leader isn't providing clear expectations or goals, it can be helpful to have a conversation with them about what they expect from you. You can also try to clarify expectations by asking specific questions and getting feedback on your work. If your boss or leader is blaming others or refusing to take responsibility for their actions, it can be helpful to document specific instances of this behavior and talk to HR or a higher-up in the organization. You can also try to focus on your own work and not get caught up in the blame game. If your boss or leader is resistant to feedback, it can be helpful to frame your feedback in a positive and constructive way. You can also try to find a mentor or ally within the organization who can help you navigate the situation. If your boss or leader is creating a hostile work environment, it can be helpful to document specific instances of this behavior and talk to HR or a higher-up in the organization. You can also try to find support from colleagues or an external counselor to cope with the stress of the situation. There are many reasons why a boss or leader may exhibit toxic behavior. Some possible reasons include personal issues. A boss or leader may be dealing with personal issues such as stress, mental health problems, or substance abuse, which can impact their behavior at work. Insecurity. A boss or leader may feel insecure in their position and use toxic behavior as a way to assert their power or control over their subordinates. Lack of training. A boss or leader may not have received adequate training in leadership or management, which can lead to ineffective or toxic leadership practices. Organizational culture. The culture of the organization may encourage or tolerate toxic behavior from leaders, leading them to believe that it's acceptable. Past experiences. A boss or leader may have had negative experiences in the past that have shaped their behavior and leadership style. It's important to note that while these reasons may help explain why a boss or leader is exhibiting toxic behavior, they don't excuse it. It's the responsibility of the boss or leader to recognize and address their behavior, and it's the responsibility of the organization to create a culture that does not tolerate toxic behavior. Here are some pieces of advice for dealing with a toxic boss or leader. Document everything. Keep a record of specific instances of toxic behavior from your boss or leader. This can help you provide evidence if you need to escalate the issue to HR or a higher-up in the organization. Focus on your own work. Try to focus on doing your job to the best of your ability, even if your boss or leader is creating a difficult work environment. This can help you maintain a sense of control and purpose in the face of adversity. Seek support. Talk to colleagues, friends, or family members about your situation. They can offer emotional support and help you develop a plan for dealing with the toxic behavior. Be proactive. If you're experiencing micromanagement or unclear expectations, try to be proactive in communicating with your boss or leader. Ask for feedback, clarify expectations, and provide regular progress updates to reduce the need for micromanagement. Consider your options. If the toxic behavior continues and is impacting your well-being and productivity at work, it may be worth considering finding a new job or taking legal action. Remember that you deserve to work in a safe and respectful environment, and it's not your fault if your boss or leader is exhibiting toxic behavior. Don't hesitate to seek help and support if you need it. In conclusion, dealing with a toxic boss or leader can be challenging, but it's important to remember that you have options and resources available to you. It's crucial to document specific instances of toxic behavior, seek emotional support from colleagues or external sources, and be proactive in communicating with your boss or leader. If the toxic behavior continues and is impacting your well-being and productivity at work, it may be necessary to consider finding a new job or taking legal action. Remember that everyone deserves to work in a safe and respectful environment, and it's not your fault if your boss or leader is exhibiting toxic behavior.